This is the video for Monday, March 29th. What is one big long-term financial goal that will require you to save some money? Specifically, how will you accomplish this goal? So in this answer, I'm not going to tell you the answer. You tell me what your goal is, and then how you're going to accomplish it. Give me a list of steps that you're going to do. Maybe if your goal is retirement, you're going to graduate from high school, then graduate from college, then get a job, then live within your means for a long time and start saving for retirement. Like that would be an example of what I'm looking for there. Okay, so to reach your financial goals, you need to make a plan for spending and saving. What is that plan called? That plan is called a budget. Okay, so if you see on a test, you see the word budget and you're looking for a definition, a budget is a plan for spending and saving. An important part of creating an accurate budget is tracking exactly how much money comes in and goes out each month. So we're going to look at some very practical ways to do that today. But budgeting is really the financial backbone for how you are going to be successful financially. And let me explain how. Investing is important, saving is important, all of those things are important. But without a budget, you're not going to have that leftover money in order to invest and save. So the plan is to spend all of your money on needs and wants that is available based on your budget, and then have extra money left over. And so without having that budget, it's much harder to do all those things. So this is cash flow. Money comes in, we call that income and earnings, and then money goes out, we call that expenses and spending. So you're going to go to your job, you're going to make your paycheck, and then that's the money that comes in. And then all the money that you spend in every different way, that is expenses and spending. This is called cash flow. Okay, so as money goes in, money goes out, that is cash flow. And you can control how much money flows by creating a good budget. So creating a budget is kind of like having a roadmap for your financial life, right? In order to get to a specific destination, you're going to get into your car, you're going to put it into Google Maps, and then it's going to take you there. You're not just going to go that direction and hope you get there. Having a budget is the same exact way. So you write everything down just like the way you would if you were creating a roadmap, and that is going to get you to where you want to go. All right, in your notes, what have you spent money on over the last 2 days? Give me a list of everything you spent money on. Maybe it's food, maybe it's gas, lots of different things that you could have spent money on. So there are two types of expenses. First, we're going to have fixed expenses, and fixed expenses are the same each month. So what are some examples of things that are the same each month? So maybe your cell phone bill, hopefully, is the same each month. Your car insurance, car payment, rent, mortgage, those things are all the same every month. They don't change from one month to the next. And then the other one is going to be variable expenses. And variable expenses change in price and frequency each month. It's really anything else you spend money on. Grocery bills, food bills, clothes, entertainment, gas. It's not exactly the same. And even if I spend pretty much the same amount of money each month on gas and groceries, it's not exactly the same. I might spend more one month and less the next month. Contrasting that with fixed expenses, where my mortgage is the same every single month, no matter what. My cell phone bill is exactly the same every single month, no matter what. Okay, so those are examples of fixed and variable expenses. And when you're creating your budget, you are going to need to know both of those things. So as you become more independent, more expenses will become fixed. Right now, you probably don't have a ton of fixed expenses unless you are paying for your own cell phone bill or car insurance. You're probably not paying rent. You're probably not making a car payment. All of those things that I listed, you're probably not paying for home TV or Wi-Fi. But as you become more independent, more of your stuff will be fixed. Knowing the difference between fixed and variable expenses will help you make an accurate budget. All right, so have you earned money this month? And if so, how? So give me a list. Yeah, yes, I earned money. I have a job. This is where I work. And then how do you currently keep track of what you make and spend? Or more likely, do you keep track of what you make and spend? Maybe the way that you keep track of what you make and spend is in your bank account. You can look at your bank account and you can see here is my paycheck and then here is what I spent, because everything you spend comes out of your debit card. That would be one way, although probably not the best way. So tell me, how do you currently keep track of how much you make and spend? And then in your income, we're going to have, all right, so just like we keep track of our outgoing expenses, we also need to track our earnings. This is an important part of cash flow, okay? So in your notes, I want you to define the terms gross income and net pay. So gross income is what you make, the total amount earned before taxes and deductions. Usually when we talk about our income, this is what we talk about. So when I say, oh, how much do you make? And you say $10 per hour, it's $10 per hour before they've taken any taxes. So this is a good sort of shorthand when you talk about it. It's good to think about things in this term when you're getting a job, because this is the amount that you're going to pay taxes on and all that. But really the one we're interested in for purposes of budgeting is net pay. The net pay is your paycheck after taxes and deductions are removed. I really don't care if how much you make before taxes and deductions are removed. You are going to be doing your budget based on your net pay. If you do your budget based on your gross income, you're going to have a problem. Because if your gross income is $10 per hour and you work 20 hours this week, you're going to have $200 this week. And so if you decide to spend $200, you're going to have a problem, because you're actually only going to see 150 of those dollars or so. And you've just spent $200. So that's a problem. Okay. So we are going to look in much more detail as the week goes on about budgeting. We're going to figure out how to make a budget and why that's important. But for today, just remember that a budget is a plan for spending and saving, and it's important to create a budget, because when you create a budget, you can actually find money that you wouldn't have necessarily planned. You're going to make a plan for spending and saving. You're going to have every dollar go to a certain place. So you say, for example, if I make $1,000 this month, where is all that money going to go? I'm going to put 100 into savings. I'm going to put 100 into investing. I'm going to put 100 into a cell phone bill, and so on and so on. And then you make a plan ahead of time so that once you get down to it, you say, okay, I've got $200 this month to spend on food. That means I've got $400 or $40 per week to spend on food. So this is how I'm going to apportion that. This is how I'm going to do that. You can make that plan so that you don't spend too much on food. What if you spend $50 per week on food and now you don't have enough? Well, usually for most people, that money comes out of their savings or their investing, and that's a problem for your long-term goals. Because if you don't have savings and an emergency hits, now you have problems. What are you going to do with that emergency? And if you don't have investing, you're going to look up when you're 40 and say, oh, I don't have any kind of savings. I've said it before in class, and I'll say it again. If you start investing now, you will have 4 times as much money as if you start investing when you're my age, on average. Depends on the markets and all that. But if you and I start investing the same right now, and we both invest until retirement, until we turn 65, you're going to have 4 times as much money as me. And I'm not that much older than you. But on average, it doubles every 7 years. And so you would get an extra 14 years of that money doubling. And so it's important to have that extra money to invest. And the way that you're going to have that extra money to invest is by creating a budget so that you can make sure that you pay yourself first. Make sure that that first 10%, that first $100 out of your $1,000 monthly paycheck goes to your long-term savings, and that second $1,000 goes to your investing.